This ugly black bitch actually thinks she can sit with us. Victoria Hayes doesn't wait for a response. Her hand finds the back of the woman's head and slams it down into the chocolate raspberry cake between them, sending buttercream exploding across white marble, frosting filling her nose and mouth as she gasps for air. 200 of Boston's wealthiest elite watch a white heiress publicly destroy a black woman at a charity gala, and no one moves, no one speaks, no one does anything. Victoria's laugh echoes off crystal chandeliers. What Victoria doesn't know, in 22 minutes she'll pick up her phone and call a city official to finish what she started, threatening to destroy the woman she just humiliated, demanding her company be buried, all of it recorded without her knowing. 4 minutes on the phone. 5 days later, everything gone. If you've ever been humiliated for your skin, stay close. This woman doesn't stay down. Subscribe now. What happens next will shock you. Camille Fletcher didn't inherit EduBridge Technologies. She built it in a spare bedroom while her daughter slept. Thursday morning, October 18th. Boston's autumn air carries the smell of coffee and fallen leaves. Camille sits at her kitchen table in Roxbury, reviewing the presentation she'll never give. Her daughter Maya, 12 years old, headphones on, history homework spread across the counter, glances up. "Big night, Mom?" "Big night," Camille confirms. The Fairmont Gala. $500 a plate. The kind of room where deals happen in whispers between courses, where partnerships form over dessert, where a black woman CEO from Roxbury might finally get a seat at tables her mother cleaned. Camille's path to this moment wasn't direct. She taught social studies at Boston Public Schools for 8 years, watched students struggle with outdated software, watched budgets shrink, watched potential die from lack of access. So she learned to code nights, weekends, summers. Built an education platform that made learning affordable, accessible, excellent. EduBridge Technologies launched in 2012 with 3 clients. Now serves 14,000 students across Massachusetts. The company's valued at $92 million. Camille still lives in the same Roxbury neighborhood where she grew up, still drives a Honda, still remembers her mother's hands after double shifts, cleaning office buildings downtown. "Knock 'em dead, Mom," Maya texts her at 9:46 p.m. as she checks her reflection in the Fairmont bathroom mirror. She doesn't know yet that in 14 minutes someone will try. The ballroom hums with old money, the kind of laughter that comes easy when your trust fund cleared 3 generations ago. Crystal chandeliers catch light. String quartet plays softly. Waitstaff move like ghosts, present, invisible, efficient. Camille recognizes faces from Boston Magazine's Power List. Real estate developers, biotech executives, 3 city council members, old family names Cabot, Lodge, Winthrop, and Hayes. Victoria Hayes arrives late, 2100 hours exactly. Her entrance isn't dramatic, she doesn't need drama. Her heels announce her before her voice does. Valentino dress vintage, hair perfect, smile practiced. She's 34 years old and has never built anything, never needed to. Her last name is already on 16 buildings downtown. Victoria Hayes, heiress to Hayes Properties, an empire her grandfather built, her father expanded, worth approximately $8 billion. The company owns commercial real estate across Boston, office towers, luxury apartments, the waterfront development everyone's talking about. $4.1 billion, 15-year term. The deal of the decade. But Victoria's known for something else, too. Something people whisper about but never publish. The assistants who quit suddenly. The NDAs. The sealed settlements. 3 years ago, a driver. 2 years ago, a personal assistant. Last year, a junior associate at Hayes Properties who refused to sign the paperwork, who told friends about hot coffee and a cream suit, and witnesses who suddenly couldn't remember seeing anything. Camille doesn't know Victoria Hayes, doesn't know about the pattern documented but never proven, the cruelty cushioned by wealth, the behavior enabled by a family whose name opens doors and closes investigations. She's about to learn. The collision happens near the desserts at 21:30. Later, people will argue whether it was truly accidental. Camille's reaching for water. Victoria's turning from a conversation. Shoulders brush. Her champagne tilts. 3 drops land on her dress. "Watch it," she says, not loud, cold. "I apologize," Camille responds, professional, calm. Victoria looks at her, really looks. Her eyes move from Camille's face to her name tag to her shoes and back up. Recognition flickers, or something like it. Oh, she says. You're that Camille Fletcher. The emphasis on that lands like a blade. Camille Fletcher knows that tone. She's heard it before. In grocery stores where security follows, in banks where loan officers hesitate, in rooms where her credentials somehow need extra verification. She's learned to navigate it, deflect it, rise above it. But something in Victoria Hayes' smile suggests she's not interested in letting Camille rise anywhere. The scholarship girl who made it, Victoria continues. Her voice carries. Nearby conversations pause. EduBridge, right? Teaching poor kids to code? She makes teaching sound like charity, makes poor sound like an indictment. We provide education technology to underserved communities, Camille says evenly. She won't be baited, won't give Victoria the reaction she wants. How noble. Victoria sips her champagne. My family's been discussing the city's education technology contract. $12 million. Big opportunity for a company like yours. The way she says company like yours makes it clear she means something else entirely. Camille stays quiet, lets her words hang. Of course, Victoria continues, these decisions require a certain pedigree, understanding. You know how Boston works. She leans closer. Her perfume, something French, something expensive, overwhelms the orchids. Some people just don't belong at tables like this. Camille Fletcher has two choices: walk away with dignity intact but ego bruised, or respond. She chooses door number 3. She says nothing, turns, begins to step past her. Victoria's hand shoots out. Her palm finds the back of Camille's head. Downward pressure. Fast, deliberate. Camille's face meets the chocolate raspberry cake. Buttercream in her hairline, raspberry filling on her collar, the metallic taste of humiliation mixed with dark chocolate ganache. She feels the cold marble beneath her palms as she catches herself, feels 200 pairs of eyes on her back. Silence drops like a curtain. Victoria's laugh shatters it, high, performative, echoing off crystal and marble and money. Oops, she says. How clumsy of me. Camille straightens slowly, wipes her face with a linen napkin, white fabric staining pink and brown. Doesn't raise her voice, doesn't make a scene. She's learned that lesson too. Black women don't get to be angry in public, don't get to react, don't get to defend themselves without becoming the problem, without being labeled aggressive, threatening, unprofessional. Excuse me, she says. 2 words, quiet, controlled. She walks toward the exit, back straight, head up, every step measured. Behind her, whispers ignite like wildfire. Someone gasps. Someone else's phone is already recording, the live stream icon glowing. Margaret Collins, board member of the Hamilton Foundation, seated at table 6, watches Camille leave. She's 62 years old. She's seen things. She pulls out her phone, not to film, but to text her daughter Rachel, an investigative journalist at the Boston Herald. 3 words. You need this. 22 minutes later, Victoria Hayes sits in her car outside the Fairmont. Engine running, heated seats on, October air crisp outside, fury hot inside. She's scrolling her phone. 6 videos already posted. 8, 10. Her name trending, her family's name. The Hayes empire built on handshakes and reputation suddenly attached to assault and humiliation. Victoria makes a call, not to her lawyer, not to PR, to Council Member Taylor, District 5, the one her family donated $50,000 to last spring, the one who will vote on the waterfront development deal next month, the one whose support her family purchased like property. 2156. The call connects. Victoria doesn't know Councilmember Taylor's phone syncs automatically to his car's Bluetooth. Doesn't know his daughter, 24 years old, visiting for the weekend, sitting in the passenger seat, hears every word. Doesn't know that daughter, Emily Taylor, grad student in journalism, political science major, believer in accountability, has her phone out, recording. The call lasts 4 minutes, 18 seconds. What Victoria Hayes says in those 4 minutes will dismantle an $8 billion empire, expose systemic corruption in Boston city government, trigger criminal investigations, and prove that sometimes justice isn't about who has the money. It's about who has the receipts. That recording won't surface for 36 hours. When it does, it won't just ruin Victoria Hayes. It'll torpedo everyone who took her family's money and looked the other way. The video hits Twitter at 22:15. By midnight, it has 4 million views. Angle 1, Instagram Live from at Boston Socialite, Timestamp 21:34:18. The camera catches Victoria's hand, Camille's head, the cake, the silence. Crystal clear, undeniable. Angle 2. TikTok from a waiter stationed near the dessert table. This angle shows Victoria's face, the deliberate motion, the smile after. The caption, "Rich people really think they can do anything, #justice for Camille." Angle 3. YouTube upload from a council member's spouse, longer video, captures the full exchange before the assault. Victoria's words about pedigree and not belonging. The algorithm loves it. Recommended, trending, spreading. By 1 a.m. Friday morning, #Justice for Camille doesn't trend. It explodes. 180,000 tweets in 3 hours. Comments flood every platform. I worked for her once. She threw a stapler at my head. My cousin was her driver, lasted 2 months, NDA settlement. She called a barista the N-word in 2020. Video got deleted somehow. The pattern emerges organically. People who stayed silent, bound by NDAs, scared of Hayes' family lawyers, convinced no one would believe them against that kind of money. Suddenly find community. Suddenly realize they weren't alone. Suddenly understand that maybe, finally, someone will listen. Friday morning, 8 a.m. Camille wakes to 400 missed calls. Her phone vibrates continuously. Text from her business partner. "Have you seen this?" Text from her lawyer. "Don't say anything yet." Text from Maya. "Mom, they're saying your name on the news." Camille turns on the television. "Good Morning America." The anchor's voice careful, measured. A disturbing incident at a Boston charity gala has sparked national conversation about race, class, and accountability. "We want to warn viewers the following footage may be upsetting." They show the cake. They show Victoria laughing. They pixelate Camille's face, but everyone knows her name. By 9 a.m., Hayes Properties releases a statement. 2 paragraphs of corporate emptiness. "We take all allegations seriously. Conducting an internal review. Miss Hayes regrets any misunderstanding." The speed of it feels rehearsed, like they've done this before, like they have a template. The statement lands like gasoline on fire. Any misunderstanding? Regrets? There's video from 6 angles. Hayes Properties stock opens at 9:30, drops 4% in 8 minutes. Analysts use words like reputational risk and liability exposure. By noon, 8% down. Boston Herald offices, 10 a.m. Rachel Foster, 38 years old, investigative journalist, daughter of the woman from Table 6, sits at her desk reviewing footage her mother sent. She's been a reporter for 16 years. She knows the smell of a bigger story. Rachel starts making calls. Former Hayes Properties employees, legal firms that handled settlements, HR departments. People talk to journalists when they think someone will finally listen. When they think the powerful might actually face consequences. By Friday afternoon, Rachel has 9 names. 9 people with stories that echo Camille's experience. Different years, different positions, same pattern, same ending, money, silence, NDAs. She has one problem. NDAs are legal. Breaking them costs everything. No one will go on record. Yet. Friday, 2 p.m. Camille Fletcher holds a press conference, Boston Plaza Hotel, 10 cameras. Her daughter isn't there. She made that choice deliberately. Won't let Victoria Hayes' cruelty touch Maya more than it already has. Camille wears a different suit. Clean, professional, no frosting. She stands at a podium, no notes, and speaks for 4 minutes. "My name is Camille Fletcher. I'm a mother, an educator, and a CEO. Last night, Victoria Hayes assaulted me at a charity gala because she decided I didn't belong in that room." Pause. Cameras click. "This morning, Hayes Properties offered me a settlement. 8 figures. One condition I stay silent about what happened, about what she said, about what she did." Another pause. The room leans forward. "My answer is no." The response isn't loud, it's absolute. This isn't about money. It's about whether we accept that some people are above basic decency because of their last name, whether cruelty gets a pass when you're rich enough, whether humiliation is just the price of entry for people who look like me trying to build something. Camille's voice doesn't shake, doesn't perform. She's a teacher again, clear, patient, letting facts speak. "I'm not angry. I'm clear. There's a difference. I'm clear that systems protecting people like Victoria Hayes harm everyone. I'm clear that silence enables abuse. And I'm clear that I won't be silent." Behind her, James Wilson, 55, civil rights attorney, silver-haired, unsmiling, nods once. The press conference ends, questions shouted. Camille doesn't answer them. Walks out calmly, professionally, the same way she walked out of the Fairmont. But something has shifted. By Friday evening, the settlement offer becomes its own story. Heiress offers millions to silence victim. The narrative Victoria's lawyers tried to control spins further from their grasp. Victoria Hayes releases a video apology at 6 p.m. Professionally lit. Hair and makeup flawless. Every word sounds written by committee, approved by lawyers, drained of meaning. I want to apologize if my actions Thursday night caused anyone distress. I was having a difficult evening and I reacted poorly to an accidental spill. I never intended to hurt anyone, and I'm sorry if my behavior was misinterpreted. That "if" cost her everything. Twitter shreds it in seconds. If anyone was offended, if my behavior was misinterpreted, the conditional language, the deflection, the refusal to acknowledge what 200 people witnessed and 6 cameras captured, comment sections explode. Former Hayes employees, still bound by NDAs, still scared but emboldened by Camille's refusal to stay silent, flood every platform with their own stories. No names, no specifics that violate agreements, just patterns. She did something similar to me. I watched her treat someone this way. I left because I couldn't watch anymore. Friday night, Victoria Hayes deletes her Instagram, her Twitter, her public Facebook. Digital silence, strategic retreat. But the internet never forgets. Screenshots live forever. And somewhere, Emily Taylor, council member's daughter, journalism student, accidental witness, sits in her apartment in Cambridge staring at the audio file on her phone. 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Her father's voice, Victoria's threats, the kind of corruption people suspect but rarely prove. Her finger hovers over the contact. Rachel Foster, Boston Herald. She presses send. Saturday morning breaks cold and clear over Boston. Frost on windows. Steam rising from coffee cups. The city waking to a news cycle that won't stop spinning. Camille Fletcher's refusal to accept the settlement becomes a watershed. Not because it's unusual for victims to reject money, but because she said it publicly. Because she named the amount. Because she made it impossible for Hayes Properties to claim they were being generous, that they were doing the right thing. The narrative flips. Victoria Hayes isn't the powerful heiress magnanimously offering restitution. She's the abuser trying to buy silence. The difference matters. By Saturday afternoon, something unexpected happens. Camille's investors don't run. They don't distance themselves. They don't worry about controversy or reputational risk. They back her. Email from EduBridge Investment Collective, subject line, standing firm. 9 investors, $42 million committed, unanimous message, we invested in Camille Fletcher's character, vision, and company. Nothing we've seen this week changes that assessment. If anything, it confirms it. The email leaks, probably deliberately. It circulates. It matters. Because Victoria Hayes's play was predictable. Assault Camille, offer settlement, expect silence. Assume her company would suffer from the distraction. Assume investors would pressure her to take the money and disappear. She assumed wrong. Camille's company stock, privately held but valuations tracked, doesn't drop. It holds. Some analysts suggest it might actually increase based on the publicity and the public support. EduBridge isn't some abstract tech company anymore. It's a mission people can see, giving opportunities to students who look like Camille, students whose parents work multiple jobs, students who won't inherit anything except the education they earn. The optics are perfect. Self-made black woman CEO versus entitled white heiress. Education and opportunity versus inherited wealth and entitlement. Evidence versus excuses. Justice versus privilege. Victoria Hayes realizes too late that she picked the wrong target. Saturday afternoon. Camille sits in her living room. Maya does homework at the kitchen table. The TV plays muted news coverage, her face on every channel. Her phone buzzes constantly. Interview requests, support messages, threats too, but fewer than expected. One text stands out. From Patricia Moore, a name Camille doesn't recognize. Message. I worked for Victoria Hayes 2 years ago. She did something similar to me. I signed an NDA for $150,000. I'm ready to break it if you keep fighting. You're not alone. Camille stares at the message. Realizes the magnitude of what she's unlocked. This isn't just about one moment at one gala. This is about a pattern, a system, a woman whose cruelty has been funded and hidden and enabled by family money for years. She texts back. Contact Rachel Foster at Boston Herald. She's investigating. Thank you for your courage. Within an hour, Rachel Foster receives 8 similar messages, 9 by evening, all former Heiress employees, all bound by NDAs, all willing to risk everything if it means Victoria Heiress finally faces consequences. The settlement offers, those 8-figure payments spread across a decade, suddenly look different. Not generous, systematic, not restitution, hush money, a line item in the Heiress property's legal budget, employment resolution costs. How many victims does it take before a pattern becomes prosecution? Saturday evening, James Wilson's law firm releases a statement. They're taking Camille's case pro bono. Wilson himself will handle it. His statement is 2 sentences. Some cases define what we stand for. This is one. Wilson is legendary in Boston legal circles, 55 years old, former federal prosecutor, 38 civil rights cases. He doesn't lose often. Victoria Heiress's lawyers know this. They panic. By Saturday night, Heiress Properties' legal team tries another tactic. They leak to friendly journalists that Camille is seeking publicity and weaponizing a personal dispute, that she's opportunistic and not acting in good faith. It backfires instantly because Camille didn't leak anything. She just refused to hide. There's a difference, and the public understands it. What Victoria Heiress doesn't know yet, while her lawyers were planting stories, while her PR team was crafting responses, while she was deleting social media and hiding, a journalism student named Emily Taylor was writing an email to Rachel Foster. Subject line, "You need to hear this." Attached, 1 audio file, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. The recording that will change everything. Rachel Foster's phone buzzes at 19:14 Saturday evening. Unknown sender. She almost deletes it. Journalists get random tips constantly, most leading nowhere. She opens it anyway. The subject line hooks her. "You need to hear this." The attachment, audio file, no label, the message, 3 sentences. "I'm Councilmember Taylor's daughter. This call happened Thursday night, 22 minutes after the cake incident. My father doesn't know I recorded it. You'll understand why it matters." Rachel downloads the file to her secure drive, puts in earbuds, hits play, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Everything changes. But Rachel Foster didn't become an investigative journalist by rushing stories. She became one by checking facts, verifying sources, building cases that can't be torn down. The audio is explosive, but meaningless without context, without pattern, without proof that this isn't isolated behavior. She needs more. Saturday night, Rachel works. Calls the 9 former Heiress employees who contacted her. They're scared. NDAs carry penalties, financial ruin, legal consequences, reputation destruction. Breaking one requires proof that the contract was signed under duress or to conceal illegal behavior. Rachel explains carefully. "I'm not asking you to violate your NDA yet. I'm asking you to tell me where to look. Point me toward public records, court filings, anything documented that doesn't violate your agreement." One by one, they help. Patricia Moore, executive assistant 2 years ago, guides Rachel toward employment discrimination filings with the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination. 3 complaints filed against Heiress Properties between 2014 and 2023. All settled, all sealed, but settlements leave traces. Rachel spends Sunday morning in courthouse records. Public filings showcase numbers, dates, parties, no details. Those are sealed. But patterns emerge. Heiress Properties as defendant, employment disputes, settlement agreements. The same law firm representing Heiress every time, Sullivan & Associates, specialists in crisis management and reputation protection. By Sunday afternoon, Rachel has 13 names. Former employees who filed complaints, signed NDAs, disappeared into silence. She starts calling. Some hang up immediately. Some threaten legal action. 4 agree to talk off the record, background only. No quotes, just confirmation. Did Victoria Heiress create a hostile work environment? Yes. Was there a racial component? Yes. Did Heiress Properties offer money for your silence? Yes. 4 confirmations, same pattern, different years. Rachel needs more. She calls Thompson Investigations, a private firm specializing in corporate background checks, due diligence, litigation support. Rachel's worked with them before. They're expensive but thorough. "I need everything you can find on Heiress Properties employment practices, legal settlements, NDA patterns, discrimination complaints. I have 13 names to start." The investigator, Richard Thompson, founder, former FBI, quotes her $15,000. Rachel's editor approves it in 10 minutes. This story is worth it. Sunday evening. Rachel works on the pattern piece while waiting for the PI report. She has enough now for a preliminary story. The structure writes itself. Camille Fletcher's assault isn't isolated. It's the first time someone refused the settlement, the first time someone fought back publicly. But Victoria Hayes has been doing this for years, targeting employees she deemed beneath her, especially people of color, especially people without resources to fight back. Hayes Properties has paid approximately $2.3 million in employment settlements over 10 years. That's not normal. That's systematic. Rachel writes through the night, checks facts obsessively, confirms dates, verifies amounts where possible, respects NDAs while exposing patterns. By Monday morning, she has a 5,000-word investigation ready. Her editor reads it, calls her into his office. This is good. It's careful. But we need more before publication. We need someone willing to break their NDA, someone willing to go on record. Rachel knows he's right. Pattern stories only work when someone steps forward. When someone says, "This happened to me, here's proof, I'm willing to face consequences to stop it from happening again." Monday morning, 9 a.m., Rachel calls Patricia Moore, the woman who texted Camille, the executive assistant who signed the NDA. "I need you to go on record," Rachel says. "I need your name, your story, details. I know it violates your agreement. I know it's risky, but without someone willing to stand up, this stays buried." Silence on the line, long enough that Rachel thinks Patricia hung up. Then, "If I do this, what happens to me?" Rachel doesn't lie. "Hayes Properties will sue you for breach of contract. You'll face legal fees, possible financial penalties, but James Wilson, Camille Fletcher's lawyer, says he'll represent you pro bono if you're willing to testify about hostile work environment. He thinks your NDA is unenforceable because it conceals illegal discrimination." Another pause. "Will it matter?" Patricia asks. "Will anyone care?" "Yes," Rachel says. "People care. Camille proved that. The whole country is watching. You won't be alone." Tuesday morning, Patricia Moore signs an affidavit, 16 pages, detailed accounts of verbal abuse, racial slurs, impossible demands, termination after requesting respectful treatment. She describes Victoria Hayes calling her the help in front of clients. Describes being told she should know her place. Describes the day she was fired, no cause, no warning, and the NDA that arrived 3 days later with a check for $150,000. Patricia's affidavit breaks the dam. By Tuesday afternoon, 5 more former employees contact Rachel. They're ready to break their NDAs, too. They're ready to risk everything if it means Victoria Hayes finally faces justice. Each story echoes the others. Different details, same pattern. Benjamin Davis, former driver, 2016. Victoria threw a phone at him during a traffic delay. Called him racial slurs. Settled for $120,000. Jennifer Wilson, former housekeeper, 2018. Fired for asking about overtime pay, called uppity, settled for $95,000. Christopher Hall, junior associate, 2021. Victoria threw hot coffee at him during a meeting. 20 witnesses. All suddenly couldn't remember details. Settled for $200,000. If you're thinking this is just another story about rich people getting away with it, stay with me. What happens next changes everything. Drop a comment if you've ever felt powerless against people like Victoria Hayes. Tuesday afternoon, Thompson Investigations delivers their report. Document number 1834-H, 42 pages. Professional, damning. Key findings. Hayes Properties has settled employment disputes at 6 times the industry average. 90% of settlements involve employees of color. All settlements include identical NDA language. Legal fees for employment resolution exceed $2 million over 10 years. More than the company spent on diversity training, HR development, and workplace safety combined. The report's conclusion, page 42. Pattern of conduct consistent with hostile work environment, with racial and socioeconomic bias as recurring factors. Evidence suggests systematic approach to silencing complaints rather than addressing root causes. Rachel has everything she needs now. Victims willing to testify, documentary evidence, expert analysis, public interest. And one audio recording that ties it all together, Victoria Hayes trying to weaponize political power against the woman she assaulted. Tuesday evening, Rachel calls her editor. "It's ready, publish Wednesday morning?" "No," he says. "Publish now. Tonight. This can't wait." The Boston Herald website updates at 20:48 Tuesday, October 22nd. Headline, Heiress's assault of CEO part of decade-long pattern. 9 victims break silence. Documents reveal systematic abuse. 12,000 words, 9 named victims, 48 supporting documents, 1 audio file embedded at the top, play button waiting. Within an hour, 200,000 people hit play. Within 3 hours, the story is national news. By Wednesday morning, it's international. Victoria Hayes' lawyers issue a statement at 2200. These allegations are false, defamatory, and violate multiple confidentiality agreements. We will pursue all legal remedies. The statement means nothing, because everyone can hear Victoria's voice on that recording. Everyone can read Patricia Moore's affidavit. Everyone can see the pattern. The empire Victoria's grandfather built, her father expanded, that she inherited without ever building anything herself. It's cracking. And the phone call leaked to the public is about to go viral. Wednesday morning, October 23rd, 5 days after the gala. Rachel Foster publishes the audio. The Boston Herald homepage updates at 8:04 a.m. Above the fold, audio. Heiress caught on tape threatening city official after assault. The play button sits centered, impossible to miss. 8:18 a.m., 10,000 plays. 8:46 a.m., 100,000. 9:30 a.m., the entire city of Boston has heard Victoria Hayes' voice. I need Camille Fletcher's company blocked from that education technology contract. Clear, certain, entitled. My family has supported this council for decades. We donated $500,000 to the development fund last week. Quid pro quo recorded. If EduBridge gets that contract, Hayes Foundation is done with Boston. Are we clear? A threat documented. Councilmember Taylor's response, hesitant, uncomfortable, ultimately compliant, makes it worse. Victoria, I understand you're upset about the publicity, but... She cuts him off. I'm not asking, I'm telling. EduBridge cannot get that contract. If they do, my family reconsiders all future contributions. Are we clear? Long pause. I'll see what I can do. 4 minutes, 18 seconds. The sound of corruption. The market reacts instantly. Hayes Properties stock opens Wednesday at 9:30, drops 11% in 12 minutes. Trading halted for volatility. When trading resumes at 10:15, drops another 8%. By 11 a.m., 19% total loss. Analysts use words like free fall and existential crisis. Hayes Properties market capitalization, $4.2 billion Tuesday close. Wednesday noon, $3.4 billion. $800 million evaporated in 3 hours. Behind the scenes, beyond public view, panic spreads through Hayes Properties headquarters like fire. Councilmember Taylor's phone, 63 missed calls before 9 a.m. His chief of staff texts, emergency meeting, now bring lawyers. 5 other council members who accepted Hayes donations are panicking. Their names aren't on the tape. Yet. But everyone knows Boston politics runs on old money relationships. Everyone knows the Hayes family has been buying influence for 3 generations. 11 a.m. Wednesday. Hayes Properties emergency board meeting. 23 board members, 14 lawyers. Victoria is not present. Her attorneys advised against it. Her father, William Hayes, 68 years old, 3 heart attacks survived, sits at the head of the table. The leaked memo from this meeting, it surfaces later, anonymous source, captures the desperation. The situation is no longer reputationally manageable. Legal jeopardy is real. Federal inquiry possible. The waterfront development vote scheduled next month is now unlikely to proceed. Recommend crisis protocol, damage control, strategic separations, preservation of core assets. Translation? Throw Victoria under the bus, save the company, let her take the fall. But it's too late for that, because the phone call doesn't just expose Victoria, it exposes the system. The way wealthy families buy access, buy influence, buy immunity, the way city officials take donations and deliver favors, the way one phone call can destroy a competitor's livelihood, the way the Hayes name has operated above accountability for decades. Wednesday afternoon. Technical verification confirms authenticity. Forensic audio analysis commissioned by the Herald. Recording is genuine, unedited. Metadata examined. October 18th, 21:56:32. Victoria's phone to Taylor's phone. Cell tower data matches. Duration, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. No manipulation detected. Victoria's lawyers try claiming illegal recording inadmissible evidence. But this isn't a courtroom. This is the court of public opinion. And public opinion doesn't care about admissibility. Public opinion cares about truth. Through her attorney, Victoria Hayes issues a statement Wednesday afternoon. This was a private conversation recorded without my knowledge or consent and taken completely out of context. I was emotional after being subjected to online harassment and death threats following an incident that has been grossly mischaracterized. I never intended to improperly influence anyone. No quid pro quo occurred. Councilmember Taylor releases his own statement. I received an inappropriate phone call on October 18th. I never agreed to any specific action. I have always voted my conscience according to my constituents' best interests. Any suggestion otherwise is false. The statements land like lead. Twitter shreds them instantly. The comments section fills with variations of, "We heard the tape. You literally said, 'I'll see what I can do.'" But the phone call's impact extends beyond Victoria and Taylor. Wednesday afternoon, 14:48, Rachel Foster receives another email. Different anonymous sender. Subject: if you think the phone call is bad, look at what they've been hiding for 3 years. Attached, 48 pages, PDFs, scanned documents, email chains, development contracts, Inspector General reports marked confidential, zoning variance applications, financial transfers, communications between Hayes Properties executives and city officials spanning 3 years. The blueprint of a $4 billion fraud. Rachel opens the first document. Boston Waterfront Development Agreement, Hayes Sterling Joint Venture, $4.1 billion, 15-year term. She starts reading. By Wednesday evening, she understands. The phone call isn't Victoria's biggest crime. It's the smallest piece of a corruption machine that runs through every level of Boston city government. And someone inside that machine just decided to burn it all down. Wednesday night, Rachel Foster doesn't sleep. She reads 48 pages of documents that dismantle her understanding of how Boston works. The waterfront development, the deal everyone celebrates, the project that promises jobs and revenue and revitalization, is built on systematic corruption. Document 1, Inspector General Report, Boston Waterfront Development Project filed March 2022. Status, under review. The bureaucratic euphemism for buried. Findings, 12 violations of municipal code. Zoning variances granted without required public hearings. Environmental impact studies marked incomplete but approved anyway. Safety concerns flagged and ignored. Recommendation: suspend approval pending full investigation. Someone overruled that recommendation. The email chains show who. Document 8. Email: Hayes Properties Vice President to City Council Member Taylor, April 2022. Subject: grateful for support. Body: your family's leadership on the waterfront project makes this possible. Attached: confirmation of our partnership donation. Attachment: receipt for $50,000 to Taylor's re-election campaign. Document 13. Email Councilmember Taylor to Hayes VP, June 2023. Subject: timeline. Body: final approval vote scheduled November 1st. We have the numbers. Your continued investment in our city is appreciated. Not subtle. Transactional. Documented. Document 24. Zoning variance application for waterfront project. Required. Public comment period. Environmental review. Safety certification. Actual, all 3 waived by emergency authorization. Authorized by City Development Commission, chaired by appointee whose previous employment, Hayes Properties Legal Department. Camille's at her lowest point earlier this week. Her daughter's hurting, her company's threatened. But someone inside the Hayes empire just saw that phone call leak and made a choice. Stay with me. What comes next proves one person's courage can topple empires. Thursday morning, October 24th. The Herald publishes its second bombshell in 48 hours. Headline: Hayes waterfront deal built on corruption. Leaked documents expose illegal kickbacks, suppressed safety reports, systematic bribery. The article is devastating, methodical, every claim sourced, every document verified. The pattern irrefutable. Hayes Properties didn't just win the waterfront contract through normal competitive bidding. They bought it, piece by piece, donation by donation, favor by favor. The financial web spreads wider than anyone imagined, not just Councilmember Taylor. 6 other council members received consulting fees through shell companies. 3 zoning board members owned property purchased below market value from Hayes-connected LLCs. The Development Commission chair's son works at Hayes Properties. The conflicts run deep, wide, generational. Total estimated improper payments, $4.8 million over 3 years. All legal on paper. Campaign donations, consulting fees, property transactions, all corruption in practice. Thursday afternoon. Petition launches on change.org. Terminate Hayes deal. Investigate city council. Demand accountability. Goal, 50,000 signatures. By Thursday evening, 120,000. By Friday morning, 190,000. The city can't ignore this. The country is watching. Boston, the city that prides itself on history, education, progressive values, is revealed as an old money playground where wealthy families buy and sell political influence like property. Friday morning, City Council President Martinez calls emergency closed session. 6 council members attend, the ones without Hayes money in their pockets. The conversation lasts 40 minutes. The conclusion, unanimous. Martinez schedules public hearing, Monday, October 28th, 2 p.m. Subject, Hayes Properties Waterfront Development Agreement and related allegations of impropriety. Camille Fletcher receives official notice Friday afternoon. You are invited to provide testimony at emergency city council hearing regarding matters in which you have relevant knowledge and experience. She has 72 hours to prepare. Victoria Hayes receives similar notice. She doesn't respond. Friday evening, Hayes property stock down 26% since Monday. Market cap lost, $1.2 billion. Credit rating downgraded to negative outlook. 3 corporate tenants announce early lease terminations. 15 small businesses publicly boycott Hayes properties. The empire that survived 3 generations, that weathered recessions and scandals and competition that seemed too big to fail, it's cracking. Not from external pressure, from internal rot finally exposed. And it all traces back to one moment. Victoria Hayes deciding that Camille Fletcher didn't belong at her table, deciding to humiliate her, deciding to make a phone call threatening the woman who refused to stay silent. 1 call, 5 days, an empire crumbling. The weekend brings no relief for the Hayes family. The story goes national Saturday, international Sunday. CNN, Saturday morning, Boston corruption scandal explodes after viral assault video. The segment runs 9 minutes. Includes the cake footage, the audio recording, interview with Patricia Moore, timeline of the 5 days from Gala to government investigation. NBC Saturday evening. Heiress's phone call exposes alleged political kickbacks. They focus on the money, $4.8 million in donations connected to a $4 billion deal. The return on investment is obscene. Fox Sunday morning. $4 billion development deal in jeopardy after leaked audio. Even conservative outlets, traditionally friendly to business, skeptical of cancel culture, can't defend this. The evidence is too clear. The recordings too damning. The pattern too obvious. This isn't he said, she said. This isn't political spin. This is documented corruption with receipts. Social media amplifies everything. The dual narrative is perfect for the algorithm. Wealthy white heiress assaults black woman CEO, then tries weaponizing political corruption to destroy her business. Race, class, power, evidence. Accountability. Every element feeds engagement. Hashtags multiply. #justice for Camille, #Hayes corruption, #Boston scandal, #one phone call. TikTok explodes with explainer videos. YouTube channels dedicated to true crime and investigative journalism break down the timeline, analyze the documents, predict outcomes. The story has everything viral content needs. Clear victim, obvious villain, shocking evidence, satisfying arc toward justice. And it's still unfolding. Sunday afternoon. Victoria's legal team files emergency motion in Suffolk Superior Court. Delay City Council hearing pending investigation of illegal recording and prejudicial media coverage. Request temporary restraining order preventing publication of sealed documents and NDA-protected information. The motion is 43 pages. Legal citations, constitutional arguments, First Amendment versus confidentiality, due process, preliminary injunction standards. Sunday evening. Judge Maria Santos denies the motion from her home office. Her written order is 2 pages. The key paragraph, City Council proceedings are legislative, not judicial. Petitioner's First Amendment concerns do not outweigh public interest in government transparency. Confidentiality agreements cannot shield evidence of criminal activity. Motion denied. Translation, the hearing proceeds. Victoria can't hide behind NDAs or legal technicalities. The public has a right to know. Monday morning, October 28th. Camille Fletcher wakes at 6 a.m., showers, puts on the same suit she wore to the gala, dry cleaned, no frosting, no stains, a deliberate choice. Maya hugs her at the door. "Go get him, Mom." She drives to City Hall through Boston's autumn morning, leaves crunching under tires, October air sharp and clear. The city looks the same as it did 10 days ago, but everything has changed. City Hall, 9 a.m., TV trucks line the street, 8 news crews. Satellite dishes pointed skyward, reporters doing stand-ups, cameras everywhere. 200 people queue for gallery seats. The chamber holds 120. Police maintain order. The overflow crowd watches on screens in the lobby, in the hallway, on phones. Inside the chamber, standing room only. Former Hayes employees, students from EduBridge schools, civil rights activists, journalists, curious citizens who want to see if justice is real, if accountability exists, if one person standing up can actually matter. Council President Martinez gavels the room to order at 2 p.m. exactly. We convene this emergency public hearing regarding the Hayes Properties Waterfront Development Agreement and related allegations of impropriety. The empire ends today, Monday, October 28th, 2 p.m., Boston City Hall Council Chamber. 8 cameras capturing every moment. Gallery packed with 200 witnesses. History unfolding in real time. Council President Martinez. Our first witness, Camille Fletcher. Camille walks to the witness table. No notes, no prepared statement, just truth. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Camille Fletcher. I'm the founder and CEO of EduBridge Technologies. 5 days ago, Victoria Hayes assaulted me at a charity gala. Pause. The room absolutely silent. That moment was humiliating. What I learned afterward was illuminating. Camille's voice is measured. Calm, every word chosen carefully. I learned this wasn't an isolated incident. I learned that wealth had insulated Miss Hayes from accountability for years. Settlements, NDAs, legal threats, a pattern of cruelty funded by family money. She looks at each council member. Then I learned about the phone call. 22 minutes after assaulting me, Victoria Hayes called Council Member Taylor. She demanded that my company be blocked from the city's education technology contract. She threatened to withdraw her family's donations if he didn't comply. She tried to weaponize your offices, this council, to punish me professionally, to harm the students my company serves, because I wouldn't stay silent. The weight of those words settles over the chamber. But the phone call revealed something bigger. It revealed that Hayes Properties has been using donations and political pressure to circumvent oversight on a $4 billion project. A project with documented safety violations, suppressed inspection reports, illegal zoning variances. Camille leans forward slightly. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here because systems that allow this, that protect abusers, that trade donations for political favors, that treat public service as something that can be purchased, those systems harm everyone. They harmed me. They harmed 9 former Hayes employees. They harmed this city's integrity. Silence. Then applause. Quickly gavelled down, but unmistakable. Patricia Moore testifies next. Her voice shakes. Her words don't. I was Victoria Hayes' executive assistant for 18 months. She called me the help in front of clients. When I requested respectful language, I was terminated within a week. Hayes Properties offered me $150,000 to sign an NDA. I signed it because I needed the money. I'm breaking it now because silence is complicity. Margaret Collins, the woman from Table 6, testifies. I saw Victoria Hayes assault Camille Fletcher. I've known the Hayes family for 30 years. What I witnessed wasn't an accident. It was deliberate, cruel, and the fact that her family tried to make this go away with money and threats, that tells you everything about how they operate. Dr. Samuel Rodriguez, zoning expert from MIT, testifies about the suppressed Inspector General report. These aren't minor paperwork errors. These are safety issues that put future residents at risk. These are environmental violations that threaten Boston Harbor. Someone buried these reports. Someone decided profits mattered more than public safety. 4 p.m. Council President. Miss Victoria Hayes was invited to testify. She has declined. Hayes Properties submitted a written statement. The statement is read aloud. Corporate language about commitment to Boston and unfounded allegations and decades of community partnership. Someone in the gallery shouts, "Coward! Gavel! Order!" 5:48 p.m. Council President Martinez. We've heard testimony. We've reviewed evidence. The question before us, Resolution 2024-482 to immediately suspend the Hayes Properties Waterfront Development Agreement pending full independent investigation. This council has a duty to ensure public funds and public trust are not abused. All those in favor? 9 hands rise. Taylor's is not among them. Opposed? 3 hands, Taylor's included. The resolution passes 9-3. The Hayes Properties Development Agreement is hereby suspended. The chamber erupts. Cheers, tears, shouting, gavel pounding uselessly. For 60 seconds, Boston City Hall sounds like justice. 6:05 p.m. Outside City Hall steps, District Attorney Catherine Walsh holds impromptu press conference. Based on evidence that has come to light, my office is opening criminal investigations into allegations of witness intimidation, bribery, and corruption related to Hayes Properties, associated individuals, and potentially certain public officials. Reporter: Is Victoria Hayes a target? D.A. Walsh: I cannot comment on specific individuals at this time. Translation clear enough. 5 days. Thursday night, cake and humiliation. Friday, viral explosion. Saturday, the phone call that changed everything. Sunday, Monday, evidence avalanche. Monday, accountability. Camille Fletcher stands on City Hall steps, cameras everywhere. Someone asks, how does it feel? She thinks about Maya, about Patricia Moore and 8 others, about 14,000 students EduBridge serves, about the system that tried crushing her for refusing to stay silent. It feels like the beginning, not the end. Thursday, October 31st, 1 week after the hearing. Hayes Properties formally terminates the waterfront development agreement. Not suspended, terminated. $4.1 billion, gone. Friday, November 1st. EduBridge Technologies receives notification. Boston Public Schools Education Technology contract awarded, $12 million. The contract Victoria tried to steal with a phone call. Some insults leave frosting. This one left accountability. Victoria Hayes faces 3 criminal charges: assault, witness intimidation, conspiracy to commit fraud. Trial date set for April. Hayes Properties under federal investigation. Stock down 34%. Credit rating, junk status. Council member Taylor resigned November 2nd, under investigation. 6 other council members face ethics inquiries. City Council passes Contractor Integrity Act November 5th. Unanimous. Requires public disclosure of all political donations from entities seeking city contracts. Mandates independent ethics review. Prohibits officials from voting on matters where they've received donations exceeding $5,000. It's not perfect. It's progress. Camille Fletcher returns to work. Maya's safe. EduBridge growing. She doesn't call it victory, calls it the start of something better. That night at the gala, cake, humiliation, silence, could have ended differently. Camille could have stayed quiet, taken the money, protected herself. She chose the scar over the silence, and it changed everything. 1 phone call exposed the rot. 5 days brought it down. If this story proves anything, it's that accountability is possible. Evidence can't be bought. Truth can't be buried forever, and one person standing up can change everything if they refuse to stay silent. If that gives you hope, if you've ever felt powerless against people who think they're untouchable, drop a comment. Share this. Hit subscribe. Because justice doesn't happen in the dark. It happens when we shine light, together. Thanks for listening.